Hello, White Ladies Crime Hotline. How can my black ass help you? What did you say? Calm down, ma'am. Calm down, ma'am. I don't understand.
Please save us.
Hold on, Beth, okay? Calm down. I have someone on the other line. Hold on. Hello, Susan, are you still there?
That my own country is treating me like a criminal.
Hey, hold on, Susan. I'm going to get someone that can help, okay? Hello, Martha. Hi, how are you? This is Anita from the White Ladies Crime Hotline. Yes, I have a Beth and a Susan on the line. And yes, I'm trying to explain how it is to them, and they're not listening. So would you mind if I click you in and you talk to them? Okay, thank you so much.
Ladies, now is not the time to crash out. I know, I feel you. This is really hard. Communities of color have been warning us about exactly what is happening. Okay, you might not have processed that this was going to happen, but they have. They've been processing it, they've been seeing it, and they've been trying to get our attention. We have not really been listening.
I have a panic attack.
Feeling like you're crashing out right now. You need to focus on yourself a little bit because you can't help if you're not focused on taking care of your own mental and physical wellness, okay? So you need to, if you're freaking out and you're like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know what to do right now, you need to hydrate, okay? You need to eat healthy food. You need to take a walk. You need to develop a meditation or prayer practice that helps provide you some calm and some grounding. You are not going to be any help if you are just spinning out.
Martha, thank you. Thank you so much for being available to calm them down. Because they just weren't listening to me. So you just stand by, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get more calls, okay? All right. Bye-bye.
Guys, what's going on? The same white folks who used to act like they don't need anybody are now exhausted, tapped out, overwhelmed, and turning to black people for help. This story is crazy, and let's dive into it. All over the country, white Americans are saying they are tired. Tired of the chaos, tired of the politics, tired of the economy, and tired of the pressure they helped created, supported, or ignored for decades. And now they are like, black people, please help us. Please save our economy.
Whoa. Hold up. I'm starting to see a lot of white people on this app start asking black people for help. Now, before you ask us for help, I need you to check your metrics. When is the last time you used your privilege to help out a black person? When is the last time you had a black friend? Have you ever had a black friend? Matter of fact, how many black people do you know? And I'm not talking about that one kid that you knew in school back when you integrated. Check your metrics. Now, based on your metrics, would you step in to help you?
For years, black communities have been shouting, this system is broken, these politicians are lying, these policies harm everyone. But when black folks spoke up, people called them dramatic, angry, sensitive, ungrateful, playing the race card. But suddenly, everybody's seeing the same problem black folks have been talking about since 1960s. This sounds funny, right?
That freaking accent is. That's like call center scammer accent. I'm not gonna name that you've got that. No. That voice, that accent pisses Americans off like you would not believe. That's Americans when we're trying to just figure out how to do anything. Why our cell phone bill is 50 times over what it was. Trying to make an appointment at a doctor, trying to make an appointment anywhere. It goes, press 1 for English and thank you for funding the
You see, this is the dangerous thing when we have diaspora wars. We get certain white people that get a bit too comfortable and they say certain things that they should have just kept to themselves. It's one thing not to like Tyler's accent. It's another thing to make a derogatory, racist joke about it. And I hope black Americans, despite our back and forth that we're having, right? You're gonna make sure you rehabilitate your fellow American. Make her understand how bad that joke is so that we don't have another situation like this again. Please.
Oh, now is a problem. Now is a problem when you had your YT South Africans come talking crazy when it came to the Zulu parade, right? And then when we called that out, like, hold on, why you got the talking crazy? You said they're not YT South Africans. They are all South Africans. Y'all are one. This is what y'all told us. Y'all are one. Then when you had the Indian South Africans talking crazy, y'all said they're not Indian South Africans. Y'all are one, right? But now you want to start crying when the white Americans talk about y'all. Now you want to play victim. Now it's, come on, y'all, please don't do that. Control. Now you want us to control the YT Americans, right? I find that really interesting how you crying. First you said y'all won when it came to the YT over there, because y'all was just lonesome, somebody's on your side or somebody had your back. You was good with it, right? But when the tables are turned and chickens coming home to roost, now you crying and begging us to stop the YT Americans. See, unlike you, we got a certain code. We got a certain standard. We got a certain way we maneuver and operate. So me personally, I condemn what this lady said. She not only disrespected y'all, a melanated group, she disrespected the Indians from India, right? So that's the difference in how we move and operate. Regardless of what we go through and what we talk about, we're not going to let somebody go and try to denigrate that have nothing to do with our conversation at all. I need y'all to straighten up and fly right and do the same and stop having other people jump in conversations.
A friend of mine called me this morning sobbing. And you might think that she's a black girl. She's not a black girl. She's a white girl at that. She was crying. And I know you probably think that she's crying because she feels sorry for me. No. She's crying because she knows what she's going to endure in her house for the next 4 years. You see, when her mom decided to marry her husband, she lost her voice immediately. They haven't had a voice in the house for over 14 years. Over 14 years. And the one time they thought they had a voice, they used it. And when they used that voice, they got punished. They got punished. Just by using their voice in their house. They have nowhere to go. Because all the mother knows is being a wife to her abusive husband. So when you guys go out there and vote against black women, just remember, you're voting against your own kind. See, the difference between a black woman, they're going to speak up. They're going to speak up on the abuse that they're going through. But from what I've known with white women, they take the abuse. They stay quiet. Because immediately when they married their husband, they lost their voice. But then when we as black women come on here and speak up, we're bitter, we're angry. Because y'all not used to standing up for yourself. So now my friend and her mom will have to endure that suffering for another 4 years. They have nowhere to go. She had never worked ever since she got married to her husband. She's been a stay-at-home mom, and that's all she knows. So when you guys go there and vote against black women because you're punishing us, you're punishing your own kind as well. But then again, y'all are mostly men who went out there and vote. Because y'all know what you're doing behind closed door. That's why you don't want to lose your voice. So you go there and you punish your wife and you force your wife and children to vote for the other side because you don't want to lose your voice because you feel like you're a man whenever you have control over your wife and your children. So y'all didn't just try to punish us. Y'all wife and children are suffering as well in y'all hands. So that's why y'all voted for Trump.
I'm seeing a lot of white women tears on here, and I just think a lot of very fragile egos are getting poked, and because we're seeing a very harsh reality of where we do stand when it comes to white men ruling this country. We are no more than property. We are no more than vessels for white babies. So we need to take ourselves down a step, realize that we are not the pinnacle of beauty. We are not the pinnacle of grace. We need to see the sisterhood and common humanity in the women around us. We are not on a pedestal. We need to take a step down and look at each other eye to eye. Because black women start movements in their sleep. They deserve a respect.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to say I disagree. That's not even fair. I'm going to tell you why it's not fair. When you have white people saying and looking and going, yeah, I'm not like these MAGA, these MAGA people. Yeah, don't got nothing to do with white. Just got to do with MAGA. Period. Nobody wants to be part of that. Even the white people that don't like what white people do still say, yeah, I'm white. They know it. They not trying to separate themselves from it. They're not trying to do any of that. They're standing on it. Yeah, see, that's not them. That's not these jokers you talking about. Those people that was in that video, they're trying to separate themselves almost entirely from blackness. They sit and they degrade people to make themselves look better to the people that they're around. So, yeah, it's damn near completely different. Kind of similar, but nah, no.
Hey everybody, it's Rich here at Leaving MAGA at leavingmaga.org. So I got to thinking about people in MAGA after these support groups we've been doing, and I am not credentialed to make any kind of psychological assessment, but it is my belief that a lot of the vitriol that comes from people who are in MAGA, that it's actually a cry for help. Yes, it is true that those who have not supported Trump, or maybe they did, like myself, and no longer do, there's undoubtedly a lot of trauma that's been endured by them. But I would also argue that many in MAGA have also suffered from their own trauma and a various variety of trauma. And I think that being traumatized makes someone more susceptible to MAGA. You know, there will come a point when MAGA will fade away and we'll have millions and millions of people who will have nowhere to go. And that's why we founded our organization, so that way people do have a new community and a new place to go and a destination and an exit ramp. So while I'm not defending or justifying any of the invective that comes out of MAGA, I do think, given my own personal experiences and whatever small insights I can bring to this, that as hard as it might be to do this, and I know it's a big ask, having empathy, I believe, is still the best approach. And I'm not asking anyone to coddle anyone in MAGA, but I am asking to try to understand that many in MAGA have endured their own traumas, and I believe they've been exploited and manipulated by the predations of Trump and MAGA media and influencers. So I just wanted to bring you that Friday message. I hope all of you are doing well out there. As always, thank you for your support and appreciate you.
I don't want to make assumptions about what you do and don't know, but since you said that this is your first time hearing of this, I'm going to invite you to look up the history of the term mammy. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to show it to you here. She is an idealized figure of a caregiver, amiable, loyal, maternal, non-threatening, obedient, and submissive. The mammy figure demonstrates deference to white authority. There is a long, long history of white women looking to black women to be mammies to them in moments like these. They believe that they will go and be coddled and called sugar and told that everything's gonna be okay. They're not coming as a show of respect. There is no pretense of actual equality there, and it's usually a transactional, one-way kind of relationship that benefits only the white woman. I'll let you do some research on your own about why we white women have this tendency to seek out black women as mammies, but it has everything to do with our history and ancestry as American white women. So yes, it is absolutely not a far leap to think that those conservative white women, when they find themselves having no community, being shunned by other white women, they will try to do exactly this. And we just need to make enough space for them that they come to us instead of going to those black women. No one said it's going to be fun. No one said you have to be their friend. But it is up to us to do this work.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for shitty britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by voting for shitty britches. But they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet, there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants was taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
My name is Angel. I live in Columbia, Missouri. I woke up watching news and finding out we are going to give Argentina a $20 billion bailout while we can't even have health care in this country. And we're falling apart. And our beautiful fucking orange wannabe god seems to think he needs a Nobel Peace Prize, which I don't understand because he's tearing our country apart. I'm really not crazy. I really never knew this. I am 60 years old. And for the first time in my life, I am scared to death to live in this country. I want to take my family and leave. I can't afford passports, imagine. But anyway, please, if you agree with me, call your senators, protest, do whatever you can. But I don't understand why we are giving another country $20 billion when so many people are on the verge of losing health care, so many rural hospitals are on the verge of closing. When this ACA or whatever they want to call it, Obamacare ends, everybody's premiums are shooting up. Not just the poor people you think are on Obamacare, but everybody's, because a whole system's going to have to absorb this. The system's going to have to absorb people that can't afford it and have to go to the emergency room for treatment, and that's all they can get. So we're going to let our people just lay here and die because they can't get health care, but we're going to bail out other countries? I don't understand. Please, if you agree with me and you think something needs to be done, just call your senators and tell them, please. Thank you for listening to my whiny post.
To all the minorities that voted for Trump, do you know what white Trump supporters really think about you? What they say behind closed doors? I used to be conservative. I grew up around a bunch of Trump supporters. Let me tell you, these people do not give a fuck about anybody but themselves. And you might think they like you as a person, but they don't like you. They hate you. They only like what you stand for. As soon as you switch up, they're gonna switch up too. They only like you now because you are giving more power to white supremacy. Every white Trump supporter I've ever met is at least mildly racist, if not full-blown ignorant. Back when I had these conservative beliefs, every time the topic of racism would pop up, I would stand my ground. I don't believe in that. I think you're wrong. And they would label me a liberal. Before I even identified as a liberal, I was labeled by them as a liberal for speaking out against racism. So basically, if you're against racism, you're considered a liberal. If you are for or compliant with racism, you are considered conservative. And I didn't create this division, they did. I heard many of their conversations, talking shit about every person who is not white. Any person who is not them, they have a problem with. And the ones who are mildly racist are even worse, because when they get around somebody who is full-blown ignorant, they become just as ignorant and just as loud and arrogant as they are. They will not defend you. They will not fight for you. As soon as they have gotten what they need out of you, they will treat you just like the rest of them.
The country is now falling apart. Inflation is up, jobs unstable, healthcare a mess, housing impossible, politics is a circus. And white Americans, the ones who once said, we are fine, nothing is wrong are now panicking. And black folks are like, we warned you, deal with your problems alone. So now, the same people who side-eyed black leadership, the same ones who ignored black activism, the same ones who didn't believe black communities, are suddenly coming around asking things like, how do we organize? How do we protest? How do we survive economic collapse? How do we navigate injustice? Black people just became the crisis counselors of Americans overnight. Let's just be real. Black Americans have survived economic collapse, discrimination, injustice, political chaos, being ignored, being silenced, and still created culture, community, innovation, and resilience. And now white folks are like, black people, please teach us how to make it through this. Because they see the black resilience is unmatched. It is funny how the same community America tried to silence is now the same holding the survival cheat codes. So here's the real question. Should black people step in and help? Or should white folks sit the consequences of ignoring black voices for so long? Because this moment is historic, and honestly, it is saying everything. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is Mercy Realities.